Hey everyone, Kelly Dean Allen here again. Today going to show you how to play Can You See Me by Jimi Hendrix from Are You Experienced? International Edition. We are in standard tuning for this tutorial, and this one goes a little something like this. That is the first verse and the intro. So there's layered guitars going on here on the studio version of this one. One of them is just playing chords, and this is the way Jimmy plays it live. Like if you listen to the Live at Monterey version of this track, he's just playing these chords and you can't hear the melody line, right? F sharp major, down to an A major, back to F sharp major, and then off to E major, right? And repeat. It's kind of a down, down, up, down strumming pattern, right? And then back into F sharp major, choke it off. Grab that fourth fret of the G string, nice slow full step bend, lots of reverb, echo and whatnot, right? And that leads into the first verse. Now, the studio version has a melody line going on as well, which you cannot hear during the live version. He's just playing those chords. There, right? Now we're going to combine those two into one, so you can play this on one guitar and still have the melody line, as opposed to just straight chords like Jimmy plays live, right? Or played live, I should say. So we're going to play this F sharp major just on the A, D, and G string, right? 4, 4, 3, right there. Same strumming pattern, down, down, up, down. And then you're going to grab that note out of the melody line on the second fret of the G string. Repeat. Second time, you're going to drop onto the 2 of the D string, not the G. And repeat. And after you repeat it the second time, you're going to hang on that 2, hit it 3 times, drop onto the 4 of the D, choke it off, and then grab that 4 of the G, nice slow full step bend. Lots of reverb, like I said, it's really echoey, this note. And then we're into the first verse. So that's the intro. Now, we're going to drop into a B5 power chord, 3-finger B power chord, right? We're going to be lifting off our fingers off of the 4s 8 times. Kind of like that, just releasing them off to the bar, right? For 2 bars. And then we're going to go back into F sharp major again and play those licks. However, now they're going to start changing up, and they're going to be changing all throughout this track, and we're not going to cover every single one, but I am going to try to cover the first 2 verses. So we're almost always starting on the 2 of the G up to the 2 of the D. Right? Now the third one is going to be a bend on the 4 of the G, and then back off to the 2 of the G before dropping back into B for the second half of the verse. Same thing, lift each time, right, back into F sharp major, back to the 2. This time we're going to hang on that 2. And instead of going back to F sharp major, we're going to play that little lick. It's a little bend to the 4 off to 2, and then 4 off to 2 of the D, right? Back into F sharp major, into a bend on the 4, and then off to the 2. Right, so those are the licks for the first verse, the first half and the second half of the verse. And now we're leading into the chorus. C sharp bar chord for 1 bar, off to B, right? Na, 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 na. Choke that off. Little pause. Into this. Right back into that bend. So coming off that C sharp for 1 bar, back to B, little pause, slide into 4 of the D string, off to a double stop here on the 2s of the D and the G, onto a double stop on the 4s, back off to the 2 again. And then you're going to pull off 4 off to 2 very quickly of the D, and then drop onto the 4 of the A. And when you drop onto that 4 of the A, you're dropping right into a C sharp 7 chord, which you're going to hit on the downstroke 8 times. And then you're going to drop down to a single note here on the 4 of the D, bam, right into that bend again, right? Now this C sharp 7 chord is 4, 3, 4 on the A, D, and G. It's a little backwards D shape, right? Pum, 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 pum. Right into that bend. Then we drop into the second verse. B. Back into F sharp major. Now this time, the third time, first time he goes off to the second of the G, second time he goes off to the second of the D. This time he's going to go into a bend on the 5 of the B. Right? And then back off to the 2 of the G, drops back into B for the second half of the verse. Back into C sharp or F sharp major. And then again, you know, he's changing it up every time, right? He almost always starts it the same way, off to the 2 of the G, then off to the 2 of the D. Not every time, but most of the time. And then he's either grabbing a bend on the 4, and then finishing either on the 2 of the G or the 2 of the D. And sometimes he's dropping down here and bending on the 5 of the B. Kind of like that, right? Mixes it up. And then we're into the next chorus. Back off to B, choke it off, into this lick again. Now, at this point, we're leading into the solo. So coming out of that C sharp 7, bum, 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 you're going to drop onto that 4 of the D and pick it like 4 or 5 times. Kind of like that. Ba-na-na-na. Right into a full step bend on the 9 of the G that you're going to let hang and sustain for about 2 full bars. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, into this. So after you let that note hang for about 2 bars, lots of vibrato, right? Bend release off to 6. Then grab the 9 of the D, bend release. Off to 7, right back into another full step bend on that 9. And then a little bend release of that 9 off to 7, grab the 9 of the A, back to the 7 of the D, slide out of it. Right into this. So we're hammering on 16 to 18 of the G, and then catching the 17 of the B on the upstroke 4 times. Now the 4th time when you get down to that B string, you're going to drop onto the 19 of the B. Right back off to that 17 into a full step bend. So that's that little section. Right, and finish the solo with this. So a little bend of the 16 of the G, releasing it off to 14, grabbing the 16 of the D. You're going to repeat that twice. And after you repeat it the second time, when you grab that 16 of the D, you're going to immediately go back to the 14, little double pull off from 16 to 14 of the D, up to 16 of the A, and then hammer on 16 or 14 to 16 of the D and slide out of it. Kind of like that, right? and then you drop right out of that slide, right onto the 4 of the D, bam, right into that bend on the 4 of the G again, right? Into the 3rd verse, which is just that B chord again, right? Let's just recap that solo. Coming out of that C sharp 7. Right into the next verse, same as all the other verses. Now, the final verse, a little bit different. We're going to drop back into that B again for 2 bars. Back into the F sharp major. Off to the 2s. Right back into B. We're going to do this like 3 times. Back to B. Back to F sharp major. And then we finally finish on that 2 of the D, and that's pretty much the end of the track right there. You just kind of let that note sustain. And there you go, my friends. That is how you play Can You See Me by Jimi Hendrix. I certainly hope you enjoyed that, found it helpful. If you did, please hit that like button right down there. Maybe drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that would be very kind. Hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world, wherever that may find you, and we will see you next time. Cheers.